Namaste, I am Shiva Swati, and this video is about explaining that the chaos which we are facing on Earth currently is due to a frequency shift of the planet. Earth is moving from 2D to 4D, 5D. So people who exist in 2D or 1D will no longer be able to survive on this planet with happiness. They can even die with heart attacks, sudden heart attacks, or epidemics. It's people who are willing to move to 3D, 4D, 5D will survive on the planet. So your faith should increase. You should start participating in activities which do not depend on grounded evidence, but which also depend on your intuition, so that you can speak from the invisible levels and that you exist as a spirit with a body, not simply a body, but a spirit, a soul within a body, and there is alignment between your mind, body, and soul. That will ensure that you are rising with the frequencies of the planet. One very major thing which will happen is that time will become shorter, and life will become speedier. Means the cycles will move at a higher rate than before, and you will feel that you are running to be in the same place much more than before. So you are constantly paying one bill after another, or you are constantly working for the same goal again and again. There is, if metaphorically, if there is a war, you are constantly fighting for one battle after another. So there is hardly any time and space to rest, to breathe, to relax, or simply laze around, have alcohol parties, discos, dancing. So all that will go in the background for a much higher purpose, meaningfulness in life, or things like healthy appetite, healthy rest, meditation. All these will come up front, because Satyug is coming and Kalyug is dying out. Humanity has around 1500 years on Earth, because the ice ages will come again, and a mini ice age is in fact predicted in the next 10 years. So after that, there will be a new species which will be born, which is the bird human, which is after the ice ages end, and then the plants begin, and then it can take 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000 years for a new species to come, a new civilization to come on Earth. And it will not be the human mammals, it will be the bird humans. Earlier there were the reptile humans and dinosauric human beings, people who looked like dinosaurs, but they had the same emotions as human beings. In fact, several of my past life sessions, people move back to the times when they are dinosaurs to understand the emotions which they are facing in the present human life. And they see that the black magic which is obstructing them in the present life is coming from the life when they were actually dinosaurs, because it's only the body which was different. The soul is the same. So whether you are a dinosaur or a human being or a bird human, your soul will remain the same. You carry over vibrations. So you need to have positive vibrations to survive on Earth, and you need to allow the cycles to happen. You should not be getting bored of the cycle or saying, why do I have to pay bills all the time? This is the cycle which is keeping you alive. The cycle will exist. It can be a bad health cycle. It can be a poverty cycle. It can be a bill cycle. It can be an abundance cycle, when rich men take a lot of loans and they have a lot of projects coming up. So in every cycle there is tension. In fact, the richer you get, your tension might increase. You might, very often rich men die of heart attacks because the stress is so high. Very few rich people would be spiritually inclined and meditative at the same time as being rich. That requires a lot of soul advancement to go to God when you are rich and comfortable. And so being rich does not mean that you will be free of stress. It's just that the kind of stress changes, the kind of output changes, what you do for Earth changes. As a poor person, you would be working for one person. As a rich person, you are working for masses. You are working for several people at the same time, but you are at the same time working. So the cycles will continue. The cycle cannot stop. If the cycle stops, you will die, and you will be reborn and enter another cycle. It can be a simple cycle like being a dog or a cat, or a squirrel, or it can be a very simple cycle like an animal cycle, which is for a few years and then you move on to the next cycle. Or it can be a complicated cycle like a human cycle, like a saint cycle, like a salvation goal. A salvation cycle is very, very difficult. You have a very difficult life. If you are aiming for salvation, you will have to achieve a lot to get contentment from your life at the end of life, and to get salvation in the present lifetime. So it is expected that humanity can survive for around 1500 years, but Satyug, the new age, is coming in 2026, and from there on the age of truth will reign, which means that you will be truthful for yourself. It does not mean that you will be truthful to everyone who asks you questions. It is not kindergarten truth age that you have to say the sun rises in the east, and if you say the sun rises in the west, it is a lie. No. Even if you feel that the sun rises in the west, it can be a truth depending on where you are standing. So a truth will be something which is true to yourself, not to another person. And you don't have to speak your inner secrets to everyone around to be truthful. No, you can keep your private space. It's truthful means that you are positive from within and you are aligned with your own positivity. That is Satyug, that is the new age, where people will be aligned to their positivity more than to rituals, more than to facades of positivity, false smiles or hypocrisy, or being married while hating each other. That is not truth. If you have an extramarital affair where you love someone, or if you have an extramarital affair to vent out your anger and you are still married to the person you love, that would be more truthful if if you can confess it, or if you can understand each other that way, than hiding an affair and abusing the wife as being ugly or fat or stupid. Because you have an affair somewhere else, you need her, or abusing the husband as being clumsy or angry simply because you have an affair somewhere else. So the truth means that you are positive to yourself. Even if people are abusive around you, you can detach from them, you can cut energy cords and still live with them, because you need them at a financial level or at the level of the structure. It does not mean, truth does not mean living in an island all by yourself. It means living with people, with your truth coming out as your reality and you being accepted with that reality. So the new age is coming. It will change parameters. It might convert the education system into a positive education system where emotional management and positive thinking are taught from the beginning. Emotional management has to be taught from KG. Positive thinking needs to be a part of the syllabus like English or maths or science or Hindi or Tamil. You need to teach the language of thinking. It's not enough to teach the language of words or vocabulary. You also need to teach the dictionary of thinking. What does positive thinking mean? How do you deal with an argument without getting angry? How do you take revenge without hurting another person? How do you teach the other person a lesson literally as a teacher without hitting him or killing him or murdering him or raping her? So, when you're taking revenge, you're teaching a lesson, but it has to be a positive lesson. The person has to agree with you at the end of taking revenge and, understand you, and you both follow the same path. What is the sense in taking revenge without the another person agreeing with you at the end of the revenge, or hating you more and wanting revenge from you more? All those cycles, meaningless cycles, will end. People will work with goals, and only those people will survive with happiness at a higher realm. So level 3 and level 4 and level 5 will survive and succeed and find positivity, whereas level 2 and level 1 will probably move into animal realms or other planets where, if they are still violent, where violence is allowed, like Neptune, and because Mars will be herbivorous when civilization comes, and Venus might allow both carnivorous and herbivorous, but Venus will move into a lot of love and self-respect and detachment, moving without marriage, trusting each other, higher levels of consciousness where you are allowed to eat anything, but you do not torture anything to eat. So, and then Mars is taking a simpler syllabus where it is vegetarian, so the negative feelings don't get inside you, because if you eat non-veg, you have to process the feelings of being a victim and feelings of being negative. So um, a higher planet can process these things more than a planet which is smaller and which is trying to heal itself. So Mars was hurt a lot during the previous civilizations when there was a nuclear war and the whole planet lost its life and became red. And so Mars needs healing before it will allow civilization again, and the civilization has to be a happy civilization, a positive civilization, not something which is experimenting with negativity. You can be positive and still experiment. Experimenting with negativity comes at a later stage where you are sure you will come back to being positive even if you are experimenting with negativity. So that Venus will take over, and then Earth again will have a civilization of the bird humans later. So that is the process where it's going on, and you need to be in dimension 3, 4, 5 now. You cannot afford to be in 1 or 2. You cannot be like a rock or alcoholic or bitter or angry, because you can die of a heart attack or a brain stroke, simply because the planet's frequency are going very high, and when you are alcoholic or bitter or angry, you are stuck at shallow levels and you will not be able to move with the speed of the planet. Emotionally, you will not be able to accept happiness, let go, detachment, move on to positive goals. You won't be able to follow that cycle. You will keep crying or be depressed. If you're alcoholic or on drugs, you won't be able to confront truth and get your reality accepted so peacefully. So being at a higher dimension is intellectually more complex, and for that you need to raise positive thinking so that more oxygen goes in your brain and you can cope with the rising frequencies of the planet. Be happy, be positive. Being happy does not mean shallow happiness. It means being positive from within, vibrationally happy. Thank you.